Welcome back to the Boy Time channel. Today, crack up Fleet Foxes. No wheel. We're back into Fleet Foxes game. We finished Bon Iver up until the current moment, at least.
Yes.
We were doing some Fleet Foxes, so we're going to finish out that discography next. I feel like we always want to keep a rotating discography dive going here.
Yeah.
It's fun. We get to, really explore an entire discography, which is different than what we usually used to do, where it was just completely random with no barriers at all. It's nice to
Yeah.
kind of get the full picture on some of these artists.
It's been a minute. We did Arca,
It is.
but
Yes.
that wasn't a full discography. That was just a full
That was just
series.
the Kick series, which was
Yeah.
5 records to be fair. And
That
then we
is
did
fair.
another one after that.
We did.
But yeah, got done with Bon Iver. So if you're interested in any of those, they're on the channel. We've also done Fleet Fox's self-titled and Helplessness Blues. So we'll be
Yes.
doing Crack Up today, and then I think Shore will be the next one.
Absolutely. And I don't
And then
think we're
from
going
there we'll figure out. I don't know if we need to do the Solstice one.
I
I
don't,
think
because
it's
it's all
just
just
different
songs from
recordings.
Shore, right? Yeah.
I think it's a mix of a couple of things, but yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay. Well, we won't do the live album that just came out.
no, we will maybe talk about it in the discography overview that we'll probably do for these. We still need to do that Bon Iver one eventually.
Yeah, I think we were waiting
So
to see if anything else is going to happen with the
yes,
Sable stuff
yeah, but expect that eventually. You're
eventually.
getting a lot of discography stuff coming to the channel early
Absolutely.
next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one, I've like heard the least about this record out of all of theirs, which is very interesting because it is still very highly rated, but I never hear people talk about it.
No.
Seems like the genres are slightly different as well. I think there's a more emphasis of progressive and avant folk, which is something I'm very into. Which makes sense given the track lengths and stuff here. So I'm expecting something a little bit more, I don't know, atmospheric, build a build of that kind of stuff rather than more the traditional Fleet Foxes sound. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I am too. I am not really sure what to expect going into this. I didn't know anything about the genres. I basically know nothing about this album, but Self-Titled and Helplessness Blues are like two of my favorite folk records of all time now. They have, I don't know, there's just something about them that is so enchanting and mystical that every time I turn them on, I have to listen to the whole thing. So I'm very excited, but I'm also like a little trepidatious, if you will. So I think without further ado, let's just jump in to track one. I Am All That I Need slash Arroyo Seco slash Thumbprint Scar. It's
Who's
gonna,
won?
I know, it's gonna be fun to fit in the bottom right hand corner. right. That was all. I am all that I need, etc.
That was really good. I'm trying to formulate thoughts. That's a difficult one to talk about.
Mm,
This is very different than the other two records,
yes.
um, which I think is a really good thing. I love that they don't stay in one place, which is great. I love groups that just like keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and this feels like a very different sound. You get loud, you get quiet, you get the folksy stuff, but you also get these really great like string sections. It's a little bit more abstracted. His lyricism has always been incredibly dense, and I think like that's going to carry over here. And it takes me a while to kind of understand what's going on.
Mm,
But I do love all the different sections and the random changes of pace, and it just sounds gorgeous. Like the pianos near the back were fantastic. Even just like the field recorded kind of outro was really nice. Yeah, really great. I don't have like it's going to be hard to formulate until we get through a couple tracks, I think, because that was a
yeah.
lot.
Yes, it was, and it was a big switch up. I think
Hmm.
when we first did Helplessness Blues, it took us a couple tracks to like get used to
Yes.
it, and then once we've gotten in that groove, then it was like amazing. I think we're probably gonna have to go through the same thing here, which is kind of weird because it's like that one was just getting used to a new artist, and this is like
Hmm.
an artist doing something completely different. But yeah, I'll echo everything that you said. Everything was very pretty and beautifully arranged. It is just a little out there, so I'm gonna have to get used to it. But I still like there's still some connective tissues. Like you can definitely see like Plains Bitter Dancer vibes in
Yep.
this. Like it's not like completely out of left field. This isn't like a Yeezus situation or
Some
something.
natural progression.
Yes, yes. It's just one more notch over.
Yes.
So hopefully it won't take that long to get used to, but we will have to get used to it. I'm kind of tempted to do the next two tracks together because it seems like they might be tied just based on the track
Does
list.
seem to be that way.
But they are both long. So we don't usually do twofers.
We'll see how we're feeling.
Okay. We'll start off with Cassius, but we might bleed into Naiads and Casades.
Past my window out in the street, life makes short work of all I see. Men take the change from beggars tied, bound in sheets. Red and blue, the useless siren scream.
Song of masses passing outside, all inside in the thick of July. When guns for hire, open fire, blind against the dawn. When the knights in iron took the palm.
I have a feeling that's going to transition, but that was Cassius.
Fantastic. I love that one. I think that made a lot of sense to me. Um, and that was a lot easier to get into than the first track.
Oh, yeah.
Love the instrumental. I love just like the build and the intro, kind of glitchy. There's also like I'm realizing they're like annotating these like sections into like named sections, and that's interesting. I don't know if
Oh,
this is like strictly from the album liner notes or if this is just something Genius did, but there's like the under the water portion, which is the verses, and then it goes above the surface for the chorus. I think
mm,
that's really cool, kind of putting into context the different sections that are going on here. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. I love it. I also love, like, this is where his lyricism to me makes sense. I think it's more prevalent here and it's not as covered in metaphor.
sure.
I think this coming out in 2017 is very prevalent, as this is a very police brutality focused track, amid second, I want first or second big Black Lives Matter kind of gathering during
Yeah.
this time, and kind of really relating Cassius to like either Cassius Clay, which is Muhammad Ali, or Cassius in the Roman context. Could be relating to the dying Roman Empire, to the dying U.S. Empire. All these different things are just kind of threaded so beautifully in this track, and the chorus is really fantastic. So,
Oh yeah.
extremely well done. This feels so, I don't want to say highbrow, but like everything feels so academic in this track, but there's such a human heart element to it that's just like really fascinating. So
Oh
that
yeah.
was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Fleet Foxes does best
Hmm.
is kind of exemplifying humanity and capturing the human spirit in a way that I really haven't found in any other musical artist, but you know, especially in folk.
Hmm.
They're like the kings of that, or royalty. I don't know. There might be all sorts of female I don't know. I don't know any of the members of Fleet Foxes by name, unfortunately, except for Father John Misty, which is his legal name.
Who is
And
not on this album, I
who is
believe.
not on this album. Nope, just on Helplessness Blues. But yeah, no, I think yeah, I mean they've covered like similar, not even really similar topics
Hmm.
on past albums, but it's always like I don't know. Like, I didn't know that He Doesn't Know Why is about like the writer's brother who's like a drug addict until like months later. And then when I
Yeah.
learned that, it like completely changed how I view the lyrics and the song. And I'm like, oh, this is like a sad song, but it's like one of the prettiest sad songs I've ever heard. And there's like a doo-wop breakdown at the end of that song.
Hmm.
It's like, what is, why would you do that? But it works really, really well. And I think that having it be a little bit more explicit is, it's more effective, I think, for
Hmm.
sure. And if they're going for more artsy, I guess they're trying to say something here a little bit more than just like we're going to make pretty music, then I think it's definitely more effective. So I'm really liking it. I think it's really great so far. But yeah, I'll back the song up like 10 seconds and then we'll transition into Naiad's Casades.
Who stole the life from you? Who turned you so against you? Who was the thief who shaved your teeth, accepting just virtue? And did he act alone? Were any more complicit when he would sing and offer the ring? What older voice said, kiss it? Ooh. Water can't doubt its power. You're not a drift. You're not a gift. You know you're not a
I'm gonna pause it early. I have a feeling that is also going to transition. That was track three, Naiads Casades.
Fantastic. Again, yeah, the first track seemed like a like here's what you're kind of getting here, and we're putting it all in one track. Now
Yeah.
we're kind of zooming in a little bit, and things are just really expanding, and I'm loving it so far. Uh, Flip of the I kind of see the connection between these two tracks now. Last one was police brutality focused, more like minority oppression. This
Hmm.
one is more patriarchal focused. Getting the naiads in there, which I think is Greek mythology for like
Yes.
sirens or nymphs or something. Taking that, I think it's a really great flip. I love the lyrics in this track as well. I'm also liking like how, again, the human element he's taking in this. He's not really providing answers. He's asking questions and putting things in this really articulate, beautiful way. I especially love the last verse of like the flip of the female being so like delicate and like that gorgeous and that kind of stuff, and flips it into like fire and you are water and all of this different like powerful imagery. That's just like a really brilliant flip.
Yeah.
The sound of it is also phenomenal. I love the like almost like baroque. I was getting like moon shaped pool vibes near the end in that interlude section. Just how gorgeous the string sections and everything were. It was just everything is so watery, which I think is what they were going for here, and I'm loving the sound of that. So
Yeah.
fantastic so far.
Yeah, that song was absolutely beautiful. And it might be my favorite one so far,
Hmm.
which I don't like to say because it's probably the most straightforward one. But I did really, really like it. Like you said, like all the instrumentation, the strings were beautiful. I love when like the piano came in there a little bit. And then just the harmonies, man. Like
Hmm.
that is all I need. Yeah, I mean, great, great song. What else is there to say?
Nothing.
Exactly right. Track four is called Kept Woman.
They're all so close to transitioning and they just don't.
It's kind of same vibes, I guess.
And you're lost in a shadow there. Cinder and smoke hanging in the air. Oh, when I know you'll be bolder than me, I was high, I was unaware. Can you be slow for a little while? Widow your soul for another mile. I'm just the same as when you saw me back then, and we're bound to be reconciled. We're bound to be reconciled. Too long swinging the night. All will wash over you in a night so unending. Not long now to the rising. Not long now to the rising.
Just like that, a song actually ends.
What?
Kept Woman.
Gorgeous, fantastic. Yeah, the instrumentation is just so fantastic on this record. I feel like Helplessness Blues still gives me a shock today, where it's like it feels like it's meandering in so many areas, but doesn't like hone in on a style that makes me grasp and like go towards it.
Hmm.
This one, everything feels so put together. Like there's a lot of variety, but everything feels like a parts to a whole, which is really great. Um, I love the just piano arpeggios and the little flourishes that happened. Again, Moonshaped Poolish with just how pretty and like bright those piano flourishes are. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love the kind of annotations of a flower blooming and wilting, and the instrumentation kind of following that is just phenomenal. I think this track kind of detailing like kind of a continuation of the last track, but more towards like uh, people marrying women just for them to be at home and tend to the house and do nothing else and kind of live in the shadow of this other person, and kind of trying to break out of that. I love just like for me, their music all sounds like it could be from like a feudal like England of like serfs and peasants in this kind of like classical way that they put their music out. It's
Yeah.
cool because you can relate it to modern day, and a lot of the same issues are here. Some of them not as acute, of course, but like some like this constantly prevalent and remain prevalent and will continue to remain prevalent. So
Oh yeah.
phenomenal. It sounds so good.
Yeah. That is like that was just beautiful, and I feel like I've just been saying that for this
Mhm.
whole album, but it's really true. There are moments in like I guess in Helplessness Blues. I don't like picking on Helplessness Blues because I do like it quite a bit.
I always do that.
But yeah, like you said, it's not very sonically cohesive, and I think it does kind of falter in places. Um, but it's still great. But yeah, this feels like way more put together. Like they're really trying to say something. They're trying to say a
Mhm.
lot of things, which I'm not used to. But all while keeping it very beautiful and pretty in that human element, where it's not even necessarily like painting all men as being
Right.
evil or the problem. It's like we're focusing in on the people who are
Mhm.
affected negatively by these societal norms and things that are in place, and just like pointing that out and being like, hey, no one specifically is the problem, but we need to work on fixing this,
Mhm.
which I think is kind of it's an effective way to, I guess, like reach across the aisle and be like, this is a problem that is very universal, and these are the people that are affected by it. Let's all work together to change it. And I think that it's a good message. I think so. Good job, Fleet Foxes. I guess. I am a centrist. Track
Thank you.
5 is 3rd of May, Odaigahara. Sorry?
Jahari, yeah, Jahari.
Jaharia. We'll call it that. Track 5.
Light into the night, song remained, and I was hiding by the stair, half here, half there, past the lashing rain. And as the sky would petal white, all innocent minds came to mind.
right. That was 3rd of May. I'm not going to try to pronounce it again.
Wow. Masterpiece. That song was so good. I think that is entering the mountain of Helplessness Blues and Blue Ridge Mountains. It might be better than both of them. I'm not sure. That was ridiculous. Um, I feel like I'm understanding this album on a much deeper level first listen than I have the other two. I feel like the themes are a lot more, I don't know. They're a lot more prevalent in my brain where I'm able to kind of piece these very dense songs together a lot quicker than Helplessness Blues, especially. That record is dense to me and it remains super dense. There's so many things going on this track, but it's laid out so beautifully. It's just incredible how it came together. 3rd of May being about one of the band members' birthday and a relationship that he wishes he would have done more to maintain. 3rd of May also being a Francisco Goya painting.
Ayo.
So relating that to a painting, I have experience with that as well. I'm deep in the Mount Erie writing process still right now. There are long folk songs about paintings that are connected to other themes within his life. Twice, two of my favorite songs I've ever heard. This
Ah,
does the same thing. All these coincidences just kind of line up into this one beautiful portrait of a painting that like is very like wartime painty. It's very like colonial type stuff,
yeah.
but relating it to like this fleeting relationship, relating it to like impermanence and fading away as the song goes on, and then once you get to that final line of "Hold fast to the wing" as like this whole concept of we're gonna go and pass and we need to make what we need to when we're here, because everything returns back to the earth and all these cycles and things, and then you just have this beautiful ambient like outro that is just formless and abstract and almost jazzy in the way that it's put together. It's just gorgeous. There's so many layers here that it's just a really, really incredible song. Yeah, that's one of the best things I've heard from them. So phenomenal.
That is very high praise. I don't know if I can join you on the bandwagon of thinking that it's better than Helplessness Blues or Blue Ridge Mountains, but it's definitely trending in that direction. If there's one thing that Fleet Foxes know how to do, it's make a long song that
Hmm.
progresses and feels natural. There wasn't really a moment in this song where I felt like, oh, it's meandering. They're kind of floating along. No, everything here had a really great purpose. Even the like beep boopy ambient part at the end, I thought
Hmm.
was really really nice. A great way to decompress and kind of let you think about what the song was trying to say. Yeah, and I think it's very effective. I thought that it was very very nice, and I liked reading along on Genius. The Robin Pecknold, I think the guy's name is.
Yeah, I'm glad he's actually putting annotations in here. That is very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, because like some of this is like hyper specific,
It
where it
is.
was
Yeah.
like, what was the line? It was like, as the sky would petal white.
Hmm.
And it was like, yeah, me and Sky, who's the person I'm writing this about, used to ride bicycles. And I'm like, no one ever would know that unless uh unless he put that annotation in.
That's
So
why I love it.
yeah, it's really, really good and deeply personal. And I think that comes through. So very, very, very nice. All right, move on. Track 6. If you need to, keep time on me. Why don't ya?
Okay.
How could it all fall in one day? Were we too sure of the sun? If you need to keep time on me, if you need to keep time on me. Who knows what state is in store? If they are time on me.
All right. That was If You Need to Keep Time on Me.
They don't miss. Yeah. Okay. I love that I have an album again where I can just yap. I have so many things to say about every track, and it's so refreshing.
Go
Maybe it's
off.
just because we did Cemetery last week, but
Well,
I feel so in my element on this record. I'm loving it. Um, Man, this is how you do a post 2016 election song. I
oh
am
yeah.
very critical of a lot of artists that all of a sudden in 2017 got political in their work because Donald Trump got elected, and these people never paid any mind to any social or political issues before that point. It feels fake and it feels not deep
Mm.
or nuanced or any like real discussion. This one feels so good. I think especially since Helplessness Blues tackle a lot of these same issues, I'm not worried about that.
Oh yeah.
This is a genuine expression of like continuing the last track of this relationship with this person and literally keeping time on each other, as in playing music and keeping time with each other so they stay on pace, but just in a broader whole of the panic and just like the fright of this happening, and especially for marginalized groups that they've been talking about earlier on the record, this was a very wake up moment of like, hey, we knew things were bad, but now it's like, here is a bad thing looking us directly in the face. And we
Mm.
are literally doing that again
Yeah.
in 2024. This is perfectly timed. I would say this one's a lot more dangerous.
Yes.
America, both parties has, I don't want to say marched, but sprinted to the right so far that both parties are clearly right wing at this point.
Oh
So
yeah.
this song feels more relevant than it ever has, which is an interesting thing to talk about 7 years after this record came out. Um, yeah, it's a phenomenal track, written so well. The emotion is there. I love the keeping time metaphor. It's just
Oh
such a
yeah.
good metaphor for this, and it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So good.
it's hardly even a metaphor because it's like
Barely, yeah.
it's kind of a continuation of the last song where it's like
Hmm.
this dedication to a fellow band member, where
Hmm.
it's like literally you can keep time on me when we're playing the songs, but also like I got your back, you know,
Hmm.
which I really appreciate. I don't know that. I mean, that's the hit, that's the big one, but like I don't know, man. It does kind of feel like an emotional crux
Yeah.
at the album where it's like we started off and it was so big picture, where it was like these are huge societal problems. And then now it's like these last two tracks are like this is a relationship that I hold very near and dear to me, and like despite everything going on, I want to be here for this person, my
Hmm.
friend. And it's just like that's just so sweet and so beautiful. That like I've never seen that in like something that is trying to tackle problems as big as what they're trying to tackle, to like zoom in on such a
Hmm.
specific individual human element is so special. I don't know. This is really resonating with me in a
There's
way.
something in the Pacific Northwestern
Oh
air that
yeah.
just makes people amazing. I don't know what's
Hmm.
going on over there, but
I don't know. It's just like it just seems like a kind area, which
it
I
does.
really appreciate. Used to be the Midwest. Midwest, Iowa nice, anyone? Not anymore.
Nope.
uh, Too bad. Anyways, track 7 is Merkstappa? Merkstappa?
Eric, stop.
I don't know. I bet you're glad I'm reading these.
Yes. York? What are you doing?
Merrick Stappa.
Fantastic again. And very different again.
Yeah.
Love the sound of that one. That was very Radiohead and not in just a basic, oh, that sounds like Radiohead way. But the way the bass line was interacting with everything and just like this slightly like artsy like sound that it had was just really nice. Again, the ocean coming back in as a inspiration for all these instrumentals, and they all sound just so vast and like watery. Then the song like literally being about sailing, but also just the songwriting process feeling like he's sailing in an endless ocean and all this kind of stuff. It's great. The bass line, the string crescendos at the end, all of it was just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, yeah, very very beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. This song like really really resonated with me. With like just the last lines being kind of a big like wrap up of the last couple of tracks where it's like I think the opening of the song it's very like evocative of like someone sailing on the ocean alone or something. But then at the end, it's like the phone doesn't sing, the phone doesn't ring. So what will you find? So it's like he's alone. At the end, it's like, well, he wanted to be alone, but also like, for what? Like you're alone in a different place. You're not experiencing anything with anyone else. And I was just like, wow, that's really kind of deep and metaphorical. I like to live kind of a more secluded life. Not don't really know a lot of people, and I like
I
that whole
love being
time.
a hermit.
Yeah, I'm like I'm a hermit, and
It's
I'm
great.
like, and I'm just like, I don't. Maybe I should change. That's like what this song made me think in my head, where I'm like, yeah, because 20 years down the road, no one's gonna call me, and that's gonna be really sad. So I should probably make some changes in my life, and I can't say that for many songs, having like given me an existential crisis. So got to give it points for that. I
Great.
think. I didn't really want to think about that right now, but it did make me think about it. Anyways, track 8 is On Another Ocean, January/June.
Biding your time on the other ocean, falling into line
ending with some Bioshock music. Very nice. Track 8 is On Another Ocean, January/June.
This album is too good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was expecting to like it going in because I'm like, ooh, this is a little bit more of the artsy, less talked about one. That's my jam.
I
But it's
wasn't
really
expecting
hitting.
to like it.
It's so good. The bass line carrying over, again, phenomenal. I love the switch into the June section rather than the January section. It gets a little bit more upbeat, gets going. Even the jazz sample at the end fits so perfectly into the instrumental. It doesn't feel like it's an afterthought. It just is there, and it's like, oh, this kind of fits with the same kind of tune that the song was going for, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But just kind of this building relationships and like having your past kind of come up with that and the different snags that can have. I think we haven't mentioned Helplessness Blues came out in 2011, so this is the first album in 6 years. I believe what I'm gathering here is that he stopped making music to like go study at a university. I think
Oh.
that's what he's referencing in this track about like changing completely different environments, different relationships, different everything, and having all these regrets about certain things. So I think that's really interesting. He definitely feels very like academic university kind of minded when it comes to writing his tracks, which can be off-putting in a lot of ways if you do it a certain way. But the blend of just like his great like perspective on humanity mixing with these very academic subjects, he touches them in such a delicate way that just feels so genuine and fantastic. It's
Yeah.
like again, Mount Erie is very similar to this in terms of subject matter. This is written in a slightly different way, but the same kind of feelings I get from those records I'm getting here, and it's a really interesting thing. I feel like this is the good side of Father John Misty. I feel like Father John Misty
Sure.
does the opposite of this kind of writing, where it's very like narcissistic and kind of like nihilist,
Yes.
which is fine because that's kind of the character he builds. But I feel like this is the opposite side to that, and this is what I love a lot. So, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny that he was a part of this group because it
Yes.
does kind of stand for everything
I get
opposite.
he's playing a character, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, in his music, it's what he's portraying. And
Yep.
if you didn't know that, you would just be like, "Oh, this guy's an asshole." Which I
Right.
mean, he might be. I don't
I
know.
still think that. I don't listen to the records because of it's a little bit too there for me. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about that next week with a new album.
Exactly right. But yeah, no, I thought that one was really great. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I think maybe January section maybe lingered a little bit too long, but then once it got to June, I was like,
Yeah, it
yep,
was
this
going.
is it. This is great. So yeah, I don't know. I was not expecting. I knew it was going to be a big switch up, and I love those two other albums so much that I'm like, oh well, I'm probably not going to like this one as much. So, but I've been very wrong, very wrong. The only one that hasn't been on the winning playlist so far is the first track, and I think it's just because it was a shock
That's a
to the
lot.
senses.
Yeah.
So maybe when I go back to it, these will all be on the winning playlist. Who knows? Track 9, Fool's Errand.
I knew you'd find a sad dream of mine, but I know my eyes, they've often lied, and I move like blood, like fire and flood, despite
Fool's Errand.
Another banger. They don't miss.
No?
Chorus was phenomenal on that one. I love the build into the chorus and just the complete switch up when that happens. That's very strong. That rivals like some of the self-titled choruses that just like really hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. The song just talking about like uh, relationships and love not being as simple as you would think in your head. Even if you've done it over and over and over and over again, it's hard for that thing to stick. Um, yeah, I think it sounds gorgeous. I did not read into the lyrics as much in this one because I think the sound was just really, really nice. Piano
Yeah.
outro was also great.
Yeah, I'm a fan of an instrumental outro. I think listening to Carrie and Lowell so many times. So that's usually a synth outro. But
It is, but still.
it's the same effect where it's like you have this like I mean, I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics either, unfortunately. But, you have this kind of deep and heady subject matter, maybe a little emotional subject matter. You need some time. And I think that's what this song does because it is kind of a melancholic song. So to have a piano outro, I think is very effective. Gives you some time to breathe, to decompress. And yeah, I thought that the song itself was absolutely beautiful. Great harmonies again. Yeah, no misses. Absolutely no misses.
Zero.
Track 10, I Should See Memphis. Never been myself.
Me neither. Been close.
Me too. Had to think about it.
Endless vacation. Felt like perdition. Sybarite woman stood at attention, pacing the basement like caches in Rome. Or in Kinshasa. Just let me at it. Like first Manassas. Like Appomattox. I've got my teeth in it. I won't let go.
I Should See Memphis.
That outro should have went on for 13 more minutes. Yeah, that felt like a Godspeed outro. That was crazy. I don't know why that's a sudden musical. I don't want to say intentional influence, but that sounded very similar to like early Godspeed. That was really great. The song's fantastic.
Yeah.
Incredibly interesting and creative. I love that he's actually like Genius has ups and downs. People misquote meanings of songs all of the time. It happens in this song in particular, but he at least like goes in there and explains his thought process, and it gives me just like another level of context needed for this.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of pick up on it, but like him just like talking about how every single line on the song he wanted to take you in a completely different place, and he does that. Like every single line of like it still follows a story, but like every single line is of a different thing. It's the opposite of the last one, and a lot of times it's like random emotions coming up one after the other. It just like subverts expectations constantly, especially with like Manassas one, which is like the first battle of the Civil War, and then like Appomattox, which is the last one. Just like all of these different things right next to each other is really great, and instrumentally gorgeous. Again, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that one. I think that one's like the first one that didn't like completely click with me, or I guess since the first track, where it's really ominous. It's a very dark kind of, not necessarily gothic, but I don't know. The outro is just like Minecraft scary cave noise sounds, and I'm like, this is very very different. This is a big switch. So I don't know if I have a whole lot to say about it right now. Maybe once we get to the retrospective, maybe I'll have more to say, but that one was pretty good. That's all I have to say about that. Track 11, final track and title track. Crack Up.
So the mind won't lie, and the arm won't set, and the bright red eye isn't off you yet. So the words won't come, and the hand won't touch, and a midnight sun doesn't look like much.
classic move.
He's running away. His studio time is up.
Yeah, they're kicking him out. All right, that was Crack Up and Crack Up, the whole album.
Phenomenal. Great outro. I love how it kind of feels like a continuation of the first track, but we've gone through this whole journey and we've hit the end, and it makes a lot more sense in this context. The switches and the different ideas he's bringing forward on the intro kind of come into fruition on the last track here, and it just is beautiful. The writing on this album is just phenomenal. I love the sentiment at the end of like everything's constantly changing, and while that is true, like it is kind of up to us as well to kind of make sure that that change goes in a direction that's favorable, but at the same time, like it's this big existential question and
Right.
like answer at the same time. There's another Phil Elverum just line that's been reverberating in my head for like months, and I think him being an influence on this record, I think he's mentioned him a couple of times here, and obviously with like the big ocean metaphor he's using, but like he has a line that says discomfort and uncertainty, the true state of all things, just like this constant change. I feel like that just wraps up this song so perfectly, and kind of this album as a whole. It's a gorgeous, amazing, well written, well produced, like, and well paced, I would say. Like there's so many different things going on. He kind of like grabs two songs, puts them together, has similar subject matter, but touches on two completely different ideas within that. It's really phenomenal. I think Third of May is one of the best things I've heard in a long time. Um, but honestly, the entire track list is great. I don't see a low point here at all. Love all the ideas. I feel like this is the first time I've really cracked his writing style and have really gotten a lot out of it first listen. And it's really, really fantastic and relevant. So, yeah, I think this is my favorite Fleet Foxes record off first listen. So,
That's a hot take.
it is. I know that's probably not going to be popular, but people need to put more respect on this album. That's just off of one
Well,
listen.
I agree with that. But yeah, I mean, I think that last song was really, really great. A great wrap up of all the ideas, of everything. The division that is dividing this once great nation, if you want to say that, I guess.
Your words, not mine.
I was just whatever. I didn't believe what I was saying either. Yeah, no, but I think that the album as a whole, really, really, really great. Honestly, like it's probably a perfect 3 album run, I would say.
Yeah.
Of these, like, whatever. The first 3 albums, I can't speak for sure yet. I will be able to probably in
Sure.
January. Yeah, it'll probably be in January just because December is going to be busy with list week and stuff.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I thought that was really, really great. Yeah, I mean, way more politically conscious, societally conscious, in such a unsure time. I think we definitely did this at the right time too, because we're basically in the same headspace that Robin was in, although slightly different, but same
More dangerous, I would say. But
more
yeah.
dangerous, but same kind of thoughts going through our head. So yeah, this was an unintentional. I didn't know that about this album.
didn't
Did
either.
you? Okay, yeah. So yeah, it was kind
Another
of
coincidence
a
in this
little
album's many
coincidence.
coincidences, which I
Yeah.
think he thrives with on this record. So
It's very interesting, but yeah, man, that was really, really great. I'm very excited for Shore now. I know you've listened to Shore before.
I've listened to it. I don't know if I can I haven't given it an in-depth listen, but I have heard it a couple
Okay.
of times. So it'll still be a first reaction because sometimes with those things you don't truly listen until you're zoned in. So
Sure.
Sure.
So, exactly. So yeah, no wheel this week. We're going to be going to Father John Misty's Mahashmashana. That'll be next week.
sir.
And then after that, it'll be my wheel. And then who knows? I don't know when.
Possibly list week.
Maybe.
After that. So.
Probably, actually.
Well, this year hasn't really been stopping. It seems like it's slowing down, but like there's still some major artists that claim they're dropping this year and have not done anything like release dates yet. So
That's true. Weekend and SZA.
Yep.
Better drop soon if you want to be in the boy time list week. That's all I gotta
otherwise
say.
you're getting bumped to 2025 because after like
Exactly.
December 15th, my ears shut off to all new music. So
That's fair. That is fair. So that's our personal message to both of those artists and anyone
do it
else.
now or wait.
Exactly.
Done
Exactly.
with these done with these 6-month rollouts.
I know. Just
get on
stop
with it.
already. It's like Tyler. Everyone should just do what Tyler does. Just like,
Yes.
hey, I'm dropping next week, full album.
Mhm.
Just like, oh, sweet.
Here's a teaser single. You got 1 week to prepare, and then we're good. That's all we need.
That's all we
We don't need the weekend doing 17 shows in Brazil and then dropping one single and then doing nothing for 2 months and then doing another one and then doing an Apple Vision Pro one.
Mm-hmm.
Just release the album.
It's very Silk Sonic-esque, and nobody
It
likes
is.
that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the end result is good, but it's just like the lead up. I'm not excited. Like, I'm
My expectations reach an apex and then I stop caring because they're just kind of like
Exactly.
meandering. So
exactly. So, yeah, just drop already. Come on.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
please.
That's what I say. But that's all I have to say. Check out our podcast. We do it sometimes, every week, usually.
I'm gonna say we do it every week.
We do it on occasion, and that occasion is once a week. We talk about movies and TV, games, and also what we're listening to right now. So maybe new releases, maybe another Oregon folk album that we both listened to that we both really, really liked. Was on the last episode that we recorded. So maybe check that out. Because I think, well, I know that album is definitely going to be making an appearance on my end of the year list. I don't know. It might appear on yours. Probably not, though, because your year has been stacked. So
Yeah.
probably won't, but that's okay.
I usually feel bad about leaving stuff off, but I have to leave so much off this year.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
sad.
And we're doing more entries than
We are.
last
Yeah.
year. That's okay. That is okay. But that's all I have to say. That's all I have to plug.
Bars. Yeah. That's it. I don't have anything else. I think we went over all of it. So bye.